Hello, all you fine, beautiful people. I'm back here once again with another video, and today you can tell it's the start of Awake by Dream Theater Week on the channel. Today I'm going to be doing part one of Awake by Dream Theater reaction. Tomorrow is going to be part two. Then the podcast with me and Cody Brockway from Brockway's Vinyl Bites is going to be uploaded for the podcast, and then the next day I'm going to be doing a tier ranking from every song from this album. So as you can tell, it's definitely a week kind of dedicated to Awake by Dream Theater. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'll play the song, at least each song all the way through, giving you my thoughts and opinions after each song. And once again, if there's anything you want me to react to, put it down below in the comments section. I try to get around to everyone's suggestions. But going forward with the podcast, I think this is going to be the format for that, with sprinkling in some reactions throughout the week. So if you're feeling like, oh, I don't really care for that album, don't worry. There is going to be other stuff sprinkled throughout the week just for you guys. But anyway, let's get into this. I'm probably going to go through the first half. It's going to go from 6 a.m. to The Silent Man. I was able to find like an old cassette of this album online, which show the track listings where they break that up, because I know it's kind of around the part where vinyl was no longer in vogue. And these albums weren't really written for that format. It was probably more written for CDs. So that's kind of where I came up with where to end kind of part one and part two. But anyway, let's get into this. Let's get into Awake by Dream Theater. First track off of here is 6 a.m. So here it is.
Parking lot and he's just sitting
So that was 6 a.m. by Dream Theater. Wow. I like this. I feel there's a heaviness to this. First thing right off the bat, definitely in this, like I remember listening to a ton of Dream Theater for a podcast with Scott, or not podcast, like the live stream me and Scott did where we went through like top 10 Dream Theater songs. And so I went through a whole crap load of it. The one thing I noticed in this, you definitely on this hear John Mayung. I know parts of Dream Theater, it's like, okay, John Mayung's kind of lower in the mix, or kind of at times you can hardly tell where he is. But here you really hear it. Like there's actual bass. And I like that. It's a heavier song. That's another thing I really like about this, is just how heavy this song is. Like it starts with a Mike Portnoy doing some really cool drum fill at the beginning. Like I really love that drum fill that he does to start off the song, and then it gets like really, really heavy. Petrucci on this, like maybe it's because I know kind of some of his other stuff he does, but there's parts of it I absolutely love where here it feels very kind of kept in, kind of restrained, kind of, would I even say more focused might be the proper word, but I absolutely love it. Kevin Moore on keyboards. I love the keyboard sound. And I also love the fact the keyboard sound, the guitar tone, very similar. So it works quite well listening to this. And yeah, I just can't get over James LaBrie on this. Like he sounds so good here, where it definitely feels like there's a guttural, like more of a guttural rock to it than necessarily how would I put it? It's just more like a guttural rock and roll kind of feel. I know around this time grunge was quite big. It kind of feels kind of like that grunge, angry feel. I like the kind of samples they take where they're putting in kind of like the 6 o'clock on Christmas morning and bring it in, and then it brings in James' voice. It's kind of a unique kind of thing, but I quite enjoy it. But yeah, I love the heaviness of this first track. That's one thing I'll give Dream Theater, is when they want to really rock out, they can, and they know how to. But anyway, there's some great lines in here, like Melody walks through the door and memory flies out the window, and nobody knows what they want till they finally let it all go. But don't cut your losses too soon, because you'll only be cutting your throat. And answer a call while you still hear it all, because no one will if you won't. Like that's such a powerful line there from this band. It's really good, really interesting to listen to. But anyway, right now we're back on to the next song on the album here, which is Caught in a Web by Dream Theater.
Silence the skies, I watch you. Show me the heart.
So that was Caught in a Web by Dream Theater. Wow, I love this. Love it a lot. It's heavy. It's so heavy. And that's what I like about really this song. I love the way kind of like you have Portnoy on his drumming, you have Petrucci on guitar, you have Mayong on bass. You have Kevin Moore kind of coming in underneath, kind of sneakily giving it like this sinister feel at the beginning. Really does. And I like some of the way he kind of just comes in and out of the song. It really, for me, works quite well. Like listening to it, like I said on the first song, like James LaBrie sounds great here. Like really good. Absolutely love this. Like it definitely, I love how like down dirty like the chorus is, but then you get into the or the verses, you get into the chorus with the caught in a web. It has like just this airy feeling where to me it's like kind of this great contrast in singing from like the, like I said, kind of the down dirty rock and roll kind of metal vocals to just these very great vocal kind of clean, just sounds great. It's one of those where it's really interesting. And then to hear like kind of the musicianship underneath where you do get like the Mike Portnoy drumming, you get Petrucci's guitar playing. But the thing I notice here a lot, especially on these first two songs, is just how how would I put it? Like what I love about it is how kind of refrained it is. Like where in later albums that would definitely hit that where it felt like they just would go all over the place. This, it feels more refined, more like straightforward songs than, let's say, going into like prog like epics. But it for me is really interesting because to hear this from Dream Theater, because I know, like I said, I did go through like the whole thing for Scott and the prog corner, and I did notice at times it felt like some of these songs could be so much better if they would have just kind of cut from some of these. And yeah, but I love also the fake ending at the end of this song. I really do. I think it's a good idea. Like, I think it works quite well. I think the whole kind of fake ending thing here is kind of cool because it's not that how'd I put it? It's not that it's kind of like it felt like it's a whole different thing than what was going on. So it works here. But anyway, on to the next song on the album, Innocence Faded by Dream Theater.
circle breaks and wisdom lies ahead. The faithful live away, the rest remain misled. Some will transcend spinning. What is if time disappears? Innocence faded, the mirror falls behind you. Trinity jaded, I break down walls to find you. Callow and vain, fixed like a fossil, shrouding pain, passionless stage. Distant like brothers, playing out the bed display, sharing close like ending cages, condescending, not intending to hurt. Somewhere transcend spinning years. Oh, what if time disappears? Innocence faded, the mirror falls behind you. Trinity jaded, I break down walls to find you. Beginnings get complicated the farther we progress. Opinions are calculated, I'm never to openness. Beyond my circle's edge, we're driven by her blessings. Forever hesitating, caught beneath the well. Innocence faded, the mirror falls behind you. Cynically jaded, the child will call upon you.
So that was Innocence Faded by Dream Theater. that track I really like. It starts off. I'd say the majority of the song, great ballad. It's a really good ballad because that's virtually what it is. Like listening to this, you can definitely tell that they're like, well, this is probably like a good radio song. Throw this on there. See if we can maybe break through a little bit with the commercial side. But at the end, it adds the dream theaterness where it's like out of this world, like kind of what the heck? Where did this come from? And you get like the really good Petrucci all over the place guitar playing, the breakdowns of the drums. On this, I really dig this song a lot. I really do. I love James LaBrie's vocals on this, how it kind of has like that instrumental intro a little bit, but it also has like this very soft vocals from James, which I think he pulls off perfectly. Like animation breathes a cloudless mind, fascination leaves the doubting blind until the circle breaks and wisdom lies ahead. The faithful live awake, the rest remain misled. Some will transcend spinning years of one of time disappears. I love the chorus where it's innocence faded. You can tell like it kind of has that I don't know if I go so much to be like hair metal in a way kind of chorus, but it kind of has that. Like you definitely know that 80s kind of like chorus where it would be like the main line, then you'd get like this part behind it, you'd get like another up breathy vocals, and then it would be like another thing underneath. It just reminds me so much like that 80s, early 90s kind of course you'd hear in songs. I love the second verse. Callous and vain, fixed like a fossil, shrouding pain, passionless stage, distant like brothers, where apathetic displays, sharing flesh like envy in cages, condescending, not intending to end. Uh, where's the next part of this that I really. Oh, and then you get like kind of I guess the quote unquote bridge part of the song where it's like beginnings get complicated the farther we progress. Opinions are calculated, immune to openness. Beyond the circle's edge, we're driven by her blessings, forever hesitating, caught beneath the wheel. Really interesting line there. Because it kind of feels in a way like things are getting complicated the farther we progress. Opinions are calculated, immune to openness. It's very much like a great line to describe just like the more and more we progress down stuff, and as kind of the unwillingness to change, I guess is a great way to put it. But this is a really damn good song. Like I like the chords, like especially when you get to like the Innocent Faded part, like the chorus, how it kind of has like those chords, and I like the way the keyboard chords and John Petrucci's chords match up because I think it gives it like this big open airy feel. And yeah, good song, like really good song. Like this album is actually quite surprising for me. Like it's been a long time since I even went and listened to any of this, and even a lot of the earlier Dream Theater stuff, but this stuff really, to me, I'm loving it so far. Like it's really good. Like I can't believe how good this is. Like 3 songs in, I absolutely love each song so far. So let's hope keeps up the momentum with the next song, Erotomania by Dream Theater. So that was Erotomania by Dream Theater. Wow. Definitely feels more like what you'd expect from like Dream Theater throughout the years. Like quite an instrumental track. I have to say, I love the movements. It kind of feels like, I guess the best word to describe it would be like a mini epic, where it's not quite like 10 to 15 minutes, but this has so much going for it. It's really interesting. It's really unique. Uh, I love how kind of the beginning and the end kind of bookend into each other, but then it kind of goes off into a whole nother feel. I have to say on this, I really, really, really love Kevin Moore, I believe, is the keyboard player. I love his keys on this. I think it works so well. I like how that whole middle section is very lush and kind of beautiful. Like it has this craziness, but there's also like this great beauty to it. Just fantastic to listen to, and kind of like that contrast to really what Dream Theater is. Like they're this heavy metal, progressive metal band with like these insane passages, but at times they can also be so like the music can be so beautiful, and I enjoy it a lot. Like it definitely has like one thing I did notice about this is you have Kevin Moore kind of in the background, kind of doing his thing, doing his thing, doing his thing. But when Petrucci comes in, like his guitar is so loud. I'm not sure if it's kind of what they were going for there, or if it just happened to just be the way it was mixed. But yeah, it kind of has almost like that overbearing, kind of oppressive type sound to it. But I think it works within the confines of this, like really much so. Definitely, it's the let's give James Labrie a break on this, and let's just be. It kind of feels like one of those that was written. You know what? We can go. We can play this live. It gives James a break. Great song. But anyway, I have to say I enjoy it. I think it's really good. Out of all the songs on it, it's probably the most typical what I'd say Dream Theater song so far I've heard. But let's get into the next one, which is Voices by Dream Theater.
Sunday morning, the spider in the window, the angel in the pool, the old man takes the poison, now the widow makes the So speak, I'm right here. She used to say to
So that was Voices by Dream Theater. I love this song. I really do. I think this is really what you're looking for from Dream Theater. There is so much going on here. James LaBrie's vocal performance of going soft, lower, and building and building and building, and he gets into screaming. Then it's the whole voyage for me of James LaBrie's vocals, but it's also the voyage of the musicality behind it. Like where I said the previous song kind of felt like a mini epic, this feels so epic in nature. Whether it be Kevin Moore's just great keyboard work on this. And then you get like this heavy, heavy, heavy guitar. Like it's just the soft little keyboards at the beginning, I believe. And then you get like this bombastic guitar and bass and drums come in, give it this thick, punishing sound. And I think it gives it a whole different dynamic where at times you have like such interesting, like soft vocals or keyboard passages, but the brutality of the drums, the bass, the guitar, everything also gives it this feeling very much of like this whole split personality kind of thing going on. And I think it works so well here, especially Love Just Don't Stare. He used to say to me every Sunday morning, the spider in the window, the angel in the pool, the old man takes the poison, now the widow makes the rules. I love that line through here. So speak, I'm right here. She used to say to me, not a word, not a word. Judas on the ceiling, the devil in my bed. I guess Easter's never coming, so I'll just wait inside my head like a scream, but sort of silent, living off my nightmares. And then the chorus, voices repeating me, feeling threatened. We reflect your hopes and fears. Voices discussing me, others steal your thoughts. They're not confined within your mind. I love that, where it does give it like that whole split personality, like what's going on, kind of schizophrenic. Like, are they talking about me? What are they saying? It's all these kind of voices in your head. Thought disorder, dream control. Now they read my mind on the radio, but where was the Garden of Eden? I feel elated. I feel depressed. Sex is death. Death is sex. It says right here on my crucifix, like a scream, but sort of silent, living off my nightmares. Voices protecting me. Good behaviors bring the saviors to his knees. Voice rejecting me. Others steal your thoughts. They're not confined to your own mind. Like, it's so interesting to listen to. And it's this whole song, it's kind of this whole dynamic of where this whole story being told about kind of what feels like the main character and everything else. It just works here so well. Like listening to it, the flow of this. The part that really got me is when John Petrucci breaks into his guitar solo. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is awesome. Like, where did this come from? It's just the tone he used. Like the tone he was able to get with it, where it's just like kind of bend, hold that note. And it's just like one of those, it almost feels like a huge climax in the song. And it works here so well. Like so far, I've really enjoyed the first half of this record a lot. Like, all granted by saying I'm not a huge Dream Theater fan. There's a lot of stuff where I think, you know what, they should have changed or did something different. That's just me. And I know Dream Theater has a huge legion of fans who love it when they do the all the time. For me, like, this is really good. It kind of feels like they're being restrained a bit. But I think on songs like this, it works. Like, I can definitely see why Aaron Lukinson from Arion wanted to have James Labrie in some of his side projects, because it felt like he was pretty much like the prototypical singer for that type of thing. But man, his voice is good. And the way he just commands the story, I have to say it, the story is really the essence of the song. Like, where you could say like Dream Theater, some of their instrumentals, it's more about the musicianship. For me, this here, it's about that story being told. And this almost like, how long was that song? Like that was a pretty lengthy song. Like it felt like would have been 10 minutes there. Like it definitely has its place on the album. But man, it's really, really good. Like the more and more I listen to Dream Theater, especially this album, like I said, the more I really, really like it. And I think the idea is really good behind it. Okay, Voices is almost 10 minutes. So yeah, it is quite a lengthy track. So now we're going to go to the next song on the album, the last one in part one of the reaction. It's going to be The Silent Man by Dream Theater.
A question well served, your silence like a fever, a voice never heard, or a message with no receiver. Pray they won't ask behind the stained glass. There's always one more mask. Has man been a victim of his woman, of his father? Likes not to bother, will he suffocate their faith, desperate to fall behind the great wall that separates us all? When there is reason, silence, and maybe they won't notice, but this time I think it'd be better if I swim. When there is reason, tonight I'm away. The silent, when there's no answer, arrive the silent man. If there is balance, silent man that lies, the silent man.
So that right there is The Silent Man by Dream Theater. Wow. Really interesting song. Like, the last thing I was ever expecting from Dream Theater was an acoustic ballad. Really works well. The vocal harmonies in here, which is something that I don't think Dream Theater is really known for at times, but on this song, like, the vocal harmonies are really good. Like, it's such a good song. Like, I'm listening here to it and I'm like, this is really good. It's interesting. It works. I guess I guess it kind of fits like the last song quite a bit. It definitely has that feel of kind of something different. Like, a question well served is silence like a fever, a voice never heard, or a message with no receiver. Pray they won't ask behind the stained glass. There's always one more to mask, or there's always one more mask. He's a man being a victim, has been man being a victim of his woman or his father. If he elects not to bother, will he suffocate their faith, desperate to fall behind the great wall that separates us all? When there is reason, tonight I'm awake. Tonight I'm awake, the silent man. When there's no answer, arrive the silent man. If there is balance, tonight he's awake. Tonight he's awake, the silent man, and goes on and on. You get a nice little instrumental break with a guitar solo in here, and John Petrucci's acoustic guitar playing. I really love that on this. It fits the mood of this song so well, and it's really good. Like, just the tone of it, it's just something different. And that's one thing I have to say about Dream Theater at times, is just that being different. Like, I kind of think, at least in my mind, I got this perception of what Dream Theater is, but it's stuff like this that's kind of changing my perspective a little bit on it, especially this album, because I think this is an absolutely gorgeous ballad song. And the thing the thing that really sticks out for me, there's no drums on this at all. Like, it feels, at times I'm kind of wondering, is there any bass on it? Like, it feels like it's a lot more keyboard and acoustic guitar and vocals than really anything else. Sin without deceivers, a God with no believers. I could sail by on the winds of silence, and maybe they won't notice. But this time, I think it'd be better if I swim. Like, that's such a great line, such a great verse in this. Like, it's such a good way to kind of close out a whole side of, let's say, because I believe cassettes were still around at this time, so that might be more of I guess, a better way to kind of determine kind of an endpoint. Like, it's kind of feels like an ending of a side, just that do do do. And I just love the beautiful acoustic guitar on this. But anyway, that's the end of part 1 of Dream Theater's Awake. I have to say, at least from my perspective, I'm loving this so far. I think it's absolutely amazing so far. There's still another half of an album, but I think, at least so far for me, this is a double thumbs up. So can't wait for part 2. Anyway, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. Definitely check out part 2. Check out the podcast I do with Cody Brockway on Wednesday. It's definitely going to be great. And once again, I say thank you guys so much for watching. If there's anything else you want me to react to, put it down in the comments section. This is me here once again, signing out. Peace.